Okay, I have no idea what's about to happen because there's a Drapion on the screen, and I love Drapion. I think its design is awesome. I like using it in game. I like using it in DPP and I even tried it in OU a few times. But I have to admit, this is the first time I have ever seen a Drapion in black and white OU, and I assume it's going to do something cheesy. This is not a Pokemon you bring with honorable intentions. I don't think, anyway. I could be very wrong. But it feels like some sort of acupressure nonsense is just waiting to happen. But does that even make sense? Because, and I don't know if I assume Watashi's team is out because I cannot imagine being in the playoff race and using this. That would be a fast track to getting benched and then being questioned if you are fit to play ever again. But because that would constitute throwing, sabotaging your team anyway, giving your opponents free wins. But yeah, the acupressure thing, I don't even know if that makes sense. Well, we're about to find out, maybe, if it doesn't switch out. Because you would want to spam sub and protect for maximum acupressure, or, at least gain health with maximum acupressure. And Watashi's got a sand team, and Drapion does not heal in sand, so it can't do that thing, silly rain tentacle. Okay, I guess it really just wants to get down toxic spikes. And it doesn't have black sludge or anything. What item is that? Okay, well, those T-Spikes are going to be nasty for Ninetales, Volcarona, Chansey, Hippowdon dodging the... that's big for the Weather War. And the Fortress on Ruer's side, I don't even know if it can spin because Watashi has a Rotom regular. Just Rotom. Pre-Platinum, it was the only Rotom there is. So we somehow have two Fortresses in this game, and it's just going to stack hazards. I mean, this is an invitation for Ruer's own Fori to come in. But Watashi's team, what is going on? I guess Rotom is scarfed? And I'm not sure why Drapion is used. Oh, I guess maybe it's a Scarf Drapion to counter Alakazam, because you Pursuit Trap it, and you aren't weak to Focus Blast. I mean, that is why Scarf Drapion was tried by a few players in DPP OU, except it was Gengar instead of Alakazam, but I guess the same principle applies. And you also would use T-Spikes with it, because what else is it going to do? Crunch, Pursuit, and the other moves don't even matter. So that might be a Scarf T-Spikes Drapion getting down T-Spikes and messing up a Sunstall team. Now, Sunstall is always... You're always taking some sort of a risk when you use it. And this Rotom set, I wonder if it's that set Peng was messing around with a while ago, the one with Rocky Helmet, because it can outspeed and mess with Excadrill. And if it's taking Iron Heads on the Switch, and you Pain Split, you threaten with Will-O-Wisp, fun stuff. Anyway, so Ruer is also going to try to load up the field with as many hazards as he can, because, Weather War and whatnot, and that Toxic Miss on the Hippo is actually going to wind up being really, really nasty for the purpose of that Weather War. Even though Hippowdon can heal, I mean, this is why Hippowdon was popular in Black and White 1 and 2 when it was the current gen, because you could take a burn from something like Ninetales or Scald Burn from Politoed or Tentacruel, and you would just heal it off. You would have such incredible longevity. But yeah, Toxic obviously goes a long way. And the thing is, even if Ruer does stack the field with hazards, Watashi is not just running a team that tries to out-hazard the opponent, as in, full hazard control, stack my own hazards, rapid spin away their own, in case Fori doesn't spin, which is, a very likely occurrence, given how the fact that Fori can't spin is a big backbone of what makes black and white in the first place. You can't spin, the spikers are going to wear you down, all that, so you may as well not even bother. But there are some New Age stall teams trying to use Fori's anti-hazard tendencies. But yeah, this team doesn't even mind necessarily if Fori is unable to do that, because there is a Clefable ready to ignore. Yeah, I mean, Clef was already getting more popular in black and white from what I saw, and now this recent emergence of all these Blissey stall teams is just going to make Clef better, because that's just... Clef previously had to struggle with the whole idea that Black and White was too strong for it to wall in, without fairy typing. And then it wound up proving that wrong. And, if the metagame is just slowing down, as it was in response to Volcarona and Cloyster and those hyper offense teams they're on, because you're not going to be able to play around them with balanced teams as much, but you can outbulk them with things like Chansey and Bronzong and Slowbros, unaware users, things like that. Unaware users meaning Quagsire in this sense. Then, yeah, Clef just feasts on those, and it shows Ice Beam, so Gliscor won't be able to withstand the knockoff, and we are possibly in for another battle soon, which I think might be good, because this battle, I think, might be over. And it might be over in a very long way, because I'm not seeing a way for Ruhr to win. He's not going to be able to outlast Watashi, because, I mean, as you see here, he's just getting worn down by this Clef alone, and he's not going to be able to break through him with anything, because the only threat he has is Volcarona, which is just going to get ravaged by hazards, and it's going to get checked by Hippo and Clef, and yeah, this game just feels very over. And I think it probably would be over even without Drapion, but I do like seeing Drapion up here. But yeah, we're scheduled to have another game pop up right about now. Or in 4 minutes, technically. Yeah, so I don't even know if that Toxic, because, as Clef reveals Flamethrower, okay, to mess with, I guess so Scizor can't set up on you easily, and to mess with Excadrill switching in, that's cool. I guess they don't run Seismic Toss. I mean, I would really not want to face Heatran with this team. But, I mean, if you're running Drapion, then I guess you're kind of not really taking into account silly things like that anyway. And Heatran seems to really be on the downswing in Black and White. As the balance wars become more and more optimized, then Heatran just doesn't find a place, because it's not really hard countering much of anything besides Volcarona, non-HP ground variants anyway. So yeah, barring a lucky crit there or something, then I don't know. I mean, if Watashi risking Clef there, I don't know if that was the most advisable thing, but again, I think he's kind of being reckless here, because again, he's using Drapion. So yeah, Sunstall is always up in the air whether it's going to be good or not. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's truly a gimmick, but it's definitely not the same level of reliability that something like, a standard Rain or Sun or Hyper Offense Weatherless team would be, or even something like Dragmag, which has also fallen out of favor, mostly because of Cloyster. Yeah, I mean, because sometimes you have these amazing matchups where just Sun, Crest, Chansey just goes absolutely berserk. You almost don't even need the Volcarona. And then you have, I'm not going to say games like this, because there are no games like this, but then you have other games where it just does not go well at all, and it just feels like it's putting too much in the hands of the matchup gods. So Ninetales has some longevity in the form of rest, so it actually completely walls this Clefable. The problem is, Hippo's going to come in now and force it out, unless this Ninetales is going to Sleep Talk Roar or something twice and then wake up. Otherwise, it'll never wake up, because that's how Black and White sleep works. For those who don't know, it's the worst generation of sleep ever, because sleep resets when you switch out. Horrifying. I don't know why he didn't go to Hippo there, if he was trying to catch Gliscor or something, but yeah, now he's going to get it. But now it doesn't matter, because either Ninetales stays in and gets EQ'd. I mean, it might get burned, but it'll get EQ'd, and that'll be very bad. Or I guess he just switches back to Clef to keep it safe. Yeah, I guess there's not really much to say here. This game is pretty much the teams doing all the work. You see Drapion lead off and get the T-Spikes, and that's it. And then the other Pokemon are going to get hazards, and then Ruhr's never going to spin. And then you're never going to win this long game. So let's switch over to this Gen 6 Ubers game. What's happening there? Oh, a Steel Arceus is defeating Xerneas. Wow, that was alright. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for this other game that's about to start, What is this other game that was about to start? It's supposed to be very interesting. I will also now put in my grocery order because I have the bad habit of ordering my groceries online. It's only a little bit more expensive, but I really shouldn't do it. But, you know, it's... Sometimes you gotta. Apparently this team has been used before. I don't know. Is this what it's supposed to do? Maybe that's how out of the loop I am, that this Drapion fun is actually a new metagame standard and I just have no idea, but I don't think so. That feels, because someone is saying in the Smogtours chat, but it feels that probably applies more to Ruer's team, which, you know, I can see this is a fairly standard structure for what Sunstall is supposed to be. Not that there's really a defined one, and it just feels, I don't know, I hate facing something as standard as Latios with a Sunstall team, because you're always going to be on the back foot against it. Like, it tricks, and what do you even absorb it with? It's going to mess you up no matter what. Here comes Fori to get the spin off, so now there's even less pressure. It doesn't even matter. We are really just waiting for that next game to start. And here's a Gen 3 PU battle. Arbok versus Minun. Now, this is interesting. Look at that Arbok spray. Isn't it great? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I was excited for this black and white game, but now this Clef is constantly being risked to a crit. Yeah, but now the Ninetales is in hazard range, so now it's really, really over. Yeah, Sun, dude, what are you... Okay, I guess it doesn't really matter. Sun feels like one of those things where there's this phenomenon in the SPL season where at the beginning of the season you use your usual things and everything's fine, right? And then over the course of the season you kind of want to start mixing it up, which is natural to an extent, but your desire to go away from your usual style will, you know, you don't want to just, you know, switch it up a little, you want to switch it up a lot. And with that, you wind up going to things that you would normally never use, and then you realize you normally never use those things for a reason. But in that moment of, I gotta do something completely different, I'm not saying this is necessarily what happened here, it's just what makes me think of it, then you wind up using stuff that you really regret after. And it's tough to stick to your guns in a situation like this. It really is. But, yeah, it's always tempting. Yeah, I don't know. The Volcarona is going to come in here and get absolutely ruined by hazards, as it's absolutely... well, I guess there's no second layer T-spikes, but whatever. So now it's going to roost, and it doesn't even matter. Yeah. It feels like... That's the whole problem with Sun. For me, the worst feeling is having a team that cannot take on, you know, standard things that you're going to face. You know, if you're going to play a standard OU game against a good player, then they can bring, you know, a lot of different things, right? And obviously there are some Pokemon that you can afford to be a little less perfect against, but with something like Sun, something so extreme, then the swings and misses are way bigger. And, oh, the Selby has Nasty Plot. I wasn't expecting that. I guess the rest of the team kind of lulled me into thinking it was all bulk all day. Not that it really makes a difference because Clef just kind of solos. But yeah, I am hoping that my Discord thing... Oh, it HP iced. I don't know why that wasn't done in the first place. Doesn't even matter. I guess he was thinking protect. But yeah, now it's... I'm just kind of talking into air while we wait for the next one to start. What's going on in Gen 3 PU? Mawile is countering Arbok. That feels somewhat surreal. And Togetic is... Togetic? Huh. Yeah, is there anything that can be done? No. Yeah, I'm hoping... I was going to make a video with Peng about the rise of Clef in Black and White, and then we were going to do it, and then Discord was not working with, you know, the call. I couldn't hear him at all. So I have to fix that, because Clef has been having a really excellent display this SPL. And the thing about Clef, it's reminiscent of when it first came out in DPP, and there were these old teams, these old EVP teams, which against everything else they could get away with being passive because passive damage was so strong. And then Clef shows up and like single-handedly invalidates them, more or less, which has led us to the very Clef-centric metagame we have today. And I mean, in fairness, Black and White was already heavily Magic Guard affected, but this is something else where suddenly a Sunstall team like this becomes even more risky because you can say, oh, I'll have my techs for sand teams, I have my techs for rain teams, and against weatherless offense I'm fine because I have Sunny Crest, which is the most unfair thing ever, so as long as I don't mess up against the opposing Volcarona, I'll be fine. But against these stall teams that are slowing it down, and yeah, there's the GG. So I guess Drapion was only on the field for one turn, but it was glorious because Drapion rules. And there's the second game. So we see Drapion survive the EQ like a champion, and now we are going to Alice versus Zokuru. Zokuru, I had someone request recently to put him in a video because he brought a Shuckle stall team, and the first game tied. It was going to go on to 1,000 turns or something. Well, 1,000 turns is the limit, so I don't know if it would have gone on infinitely. And someone asked him, like, dude, what is your plan against Fortress with that team? I haven't seen the game, but I just thought this was so funny. Someone asked, what do you do against Fortress with that team? And his response was literally, oh, I just go for the 1,000-turn tie. And I was like, yeah. Anyway, so who knows? Alice is running Executor, so that means it's not a stall team. Sleep Powders is going to be Sleep Powder Thief because that's a great set. It puts Lax to sleep on the first turn. Could be Sleep Talk. Could be offensive. Oh, Zapdos? Well, that could still... Yes, it is. So a Slept Lax and a Thief Zapdos. Even if it is Sleep Talk Lax, that is going to be very useful because it's not controlling its own sleep. So you don't know when it's going to wake up, when it's going to rest. So in comes T-Tar, Lax Answer. That could be good or it could be dicey. Alright, Alice's comment in the chat makes me think that, well, it's a reference to Dynamic Punch. Also, there's a Gen 4 Ubers game starting. And 2 Hariyama leads! Whoa! Drapion, Hariyama? Oh, I'm a happy guy. Okay, so here comes Nidoking. So, again, more offense from Alice. So, clearly the last three are going to be Cloyster, Zapdos, and then some sort of... either a T-Tar or a Steelix. So... Zokuru stays in an EQs, and that could be ugly if this pursuits now. But no, just going to go right for the Nidoking KO. And I understand wanting to Ice Beam the Zapdos. I don't know. I'm not going to say it was good or bad one way or the other. But it felt like it was a little short-sighted. Because when you get caught up in the, oh, should I EQ the T-Tar or Ice Beam the Zapdos? I think there was a more valuable way to get something good out of it no matter what. I'm not sure quite what it was yet, but... Well, because Zapdos coming in, you don't even mind, necessarily, because it's thieved. It's not eager to go one-on-one with Nido. And you don't want to be too cavalier with Nidoking's health, because it's going to be helping you against Zapdos, in terms of spamming Thunders. So... Excuse me, I felt the sneeze coming on. And... Yes, so they're playing very quickly, which... makes, well, Cloyster right into the Rock Slide. I mean, that's a byproduct of the Nidoking being weakened, I guess. But this is, if there's not a Gengar last, I don't think there is, unless the Zapdos is being dropped, which is bad. Zapdos should never be dropped. Just today I was talking with a friend, and we were like, dropping Zapdos is like being a flat earther at this point in time. It should never, ever, ever be dropped. Unless you're running Baton Pass Garbage, but that's running Baton Pass Garbage and saying, I hope that my opponent can't handle this. So... Oh yeah, Nidoking didn't... T-Tar actually shrugs off Nidoking EQ pretty nicely. It doesn't even guarantee a 2 KO from full, and he smacks it really nice. So, then... And now the Cloyster has somehow gone from threatening out... That was weird. Okay, that's really, really weird. I mean, I get that he doesn't want to risk the Fire Lax answer, so, I mean, fair enough. But somehow that Cloyster went from being on the brink of death to taking out Snorlax. So, I'm not sure. Lax going down means that now the Zapdos can be slept. I mean, it's still Sleep Talk, but... And look at Executor. I mean, it's... Yeah, my friends and I call him the unviable palm tree. Because, okay, he did do some good there. But it's such a flat trade so much of the time. And there, why was the Nidoking sacked? You can still use it for fodder later. Why was it sent in the first place? Why not just go to Snorlax or something? Why is Thunder being used there as opposed to? I assume that Snorlax has, or that T-Tar has rest. What is going on? And why not? Okay, well, Zapdos as the last is. It is Gengar. Why is Zapdos being dropped? Or I guess it could be Zapdos last and it's just not going to be running a normal resistant phaser as the last. Okay, it's Zapdos. I prefer that, honestly, because this is reminiscent of the case team that I did the video on recently, where instead of running a phaser, I mean, it could be Whirlwind Zapdos. It is Whirlwind Zapdos. Excellent. Okay, I'm fully on board then. I was afraid that it was going to be, Gengar, Steelix, or something last, and it was going to be like, oh, you don't even need Electrics, man. But yeah, so nicely done there. They're playing a little too quickly for my liking, but Whirlwind Zapdos is doing Whirlwind Zapdos things as no matter what it drags in. Yeah, I mean, T-Tar's in danger, Raikou's sleeping and in danger. I mean, you could almost Whirlwind the T-Tar here and catch the Zapdos again. I mean, that would be, a little much, but actually, yeah, once T-Tar gets worn down, then Firelax wins. So, yes, it looks like Alice has got this one. We're going to have to go through this one again. This one kind of got away from us. In terms of, because the timer's not showing up at all. The timer showed up once on turn 14 for Zakuru. And it showed up also on turn 1 for Zakuru. So 2 instances of a timer, both on the same side, in 30 turns. So, oh no, that was not a good move. Wait, why? Why in God's name was that the move? Oh my God, this is going to rest and... Why did Fortress just be allowed to spin block like that? I guess if you're predicting the 4 to HP Fire or something on the Switch, because it's going to HP Fire, just... I don't know, that felt way too... That felt very avoidable. I have somewhat of a complex about people not spin blocking when they have... it kind of encapsulates that whole prediction idea. That kind of drives me nuts, which is that sometimes people will not do something because, and there's the rest T-Tar, of course, that people won't do something because it's quote-unquote predictable, and then you realize, oh, well, it doesn't matter if it's predictable because there's nothing that can be done to stop it. Well, I mean, now push is going to come to shove because the Raikou's trying to stay out of the way of that boom, so Zapdos can't win. But it's going to reveal, is this Fortress capable of touching this Gengar or not? I don't know. This felt like it was very, very rushed, which does not surprise me because the timer is not showing up at all. Okay, it is HP Fire, at least, so that's a little better. But, man, I don't know. I don't know. So now the Gengar is up to trying to pull some tricks with Dynamic Punch, and because Boom won't KO Raikou from full. And D-Punch isn't knocking it into range there either. Here comes Fori and catching the Boom. I don't understand why the timer is not showing up at all. I don't understand why it hasn't shown up the whole game, and I don't understand why it's not showing up now in crunch time when the game is more clearly in sight. Early game, it's one thing. When you've played the situation so many times, you know what to do already. But when the specifics come into play, the unique qualities of each individual game that come from everything being simplified by only a few pieces remaining, and now it's Sleep Talk, Flamethrower, Lax, so it gets walled by the T-Tar, and that's the game. Oh, I don't know about that one. So let's break it down again. So, T-Tar, okay. Cloyster, Spikes, fine. Lax coming in, scaring it out. And Scarf switching right into Flamethrower, because that confirms that T-Tar will wall it, okay. Unless it's mixed T-Tar. And if it is mixed T-Tar, that's actually... mixed Snorlax, which would be very scary, but I guess you pray that it isn't. And then... yeah, so the Nidoking Gaff, we already kind of saw. I think that was just being a little too too aggressive for not enough gain. Because, if Zapdos switches in, there's no spikes or anything. You've got a healthy team. And the Zapdos is, you would kind of almost welcome that because, yeah, you would welcome that. Zapdos switching in, you can force an Ice Beam on it without lefties, and then Zapdos is in an uncomfortable position because then it's no longer able to withstand Eggy later on, and then you can get more out of your Eggy rather than just a 1-for-1, roughly anyway. And so, yeah, I think that was obviously a mistake, and now you can't switch into the T-Tar as safely. And Cloyster Cloyster still manages to take out the Lax, which is fantastic. And now we've got this Eggy thing. Yeah, or even now with this Nidoking, I don't get why it was switching in there. Because, to risk it on a double down like that, when, what if Fori came in? To risk it on a double down like that. And yes, I know Fori and T-Tar are both, fine switch-ins on the double. Or, sorry, T-Tar is a fine switch-in on the double because of the Lax, but just be aggressive and go to your Zapdos. Wear down the Zapdos. Because the last slot is going to be the special wall. It hadn't been revealed on that double down, but this last slot is Blissey or Snorlax and almost surely going to be Blissey or Raikou, sorry. So, yeah, risking Nidoking and having it get KO'd if you don't get this double down right is bad, I think. And then even still, it's Raikou, so at least, okay, well, I got the Nidoking thing wrong, but at least I can preserve it for fodder, which might be important considering I don't exactly comfortably switch into Tyranitar, and even that is just given a free switch to, and the Snorlax is even Rest Hog, we find out later, so that just felt like a massive, massive waste. Yeah. Gengar coming in, getting EQ'd on the switch, so that's what I missed earlier. And nice EQ on the thing. That was a good Earthquake for sure, but I don't know. You gotta. At this point, it's still kind of doable because of the whole Whirlwind Zapdos is a threat thing. But then Fori is allowed to get the spin off, and I guess it could always get the spin off. I don't know. Gengar could have. Well, we don't know what the Gengar said, I guess. If it's D-Punch, Ice Punch, Thunderbolt, Explosion, which is the standard, then it's not necessarily going to stop that spin. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was more a matter of letting Gengar get that low in the first place from the EQ. Because, yeah, I know, Screeched hard and you can't switch around it very nicely. But, yeah, this is just a frustrating one. And I guess I have a video called 3 Tips on Becoming a Better Battler, which I promise is not meant to be condescending by bringing it up here. But it's just one of the things I stress in it is the timer, and yeah, the timer and thinking your moves through, it will always, always, always help. Even if you wind up making the same move on a specific turn after using the timer, then you have a better understanding of the game state overall, and that will help you out down the line. So yeah, it's a very interesting matchup, but I don't like the way it went down. Anyway, let's go to this Hariyama War to finish this video off. Hariyama, Giratina, Bronzong. Oh, I just love seeing the dance of these Pokemon. Stupid timers in the log. Trick Rooming Bronzong, Palkia, Dialga. Oh, I missed these Pokemon. Bunch of Trick Rooms going on. Oh, I love it. SD Groudon under Trick Room. What a nightmare. Fling Light Ball. Fling SD Light Ball Groudon. Oh, I'm in love. Alright, what a wonderful, wonderful finish to this video, however it ends. Wow, look at all that priority Darkrai was withstanding. My god. Went down to Life Orb, but whatever. And now the Dialga plus the last is going to clean up? Yeah, Palkia. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And wow, people say that GSC is slow, or sorry, and it was the second game used in this video, and we're still only at a half hour total. Amazing. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.